Excuse me, sir. This floor contains a lot of confidential information, so it's off limits to outsiders. The cleaning company's office is in the basement, right? Hurry up and get going. The younger employees these days are exactly spirited. That's all I thought to myself. Being nearly 60 and on the brink of retirement, suddenly showing up at the headquarters, it's no wonder the younger employees don't recognize who I am. In the end, it doesn't matter what I'm supposed to be. I just do my job. My name is Michael, in my late 50s. For an average salaried worker, I'd be considered close to retirement age in most companies. The company I admired is one that develops online games. It started in a tiny room with just 2 computers and 2 people. Before we knew it, the company had grown so much that it had its headquarters in a building so tall that the top floor was too dazzling to see. I was called in for work this time, but I was worried if I could handle it since there have been a lot of young employees joining in the meantime. Excuse me, you're in the way. I'm terribly sorry. I wasn't blocking the entrance on purpose. It was a wide enough hallway that they could easily get by. I was just standing there. My peaceful morning was disturbed, and I was somewhat annoyed, but I politely apologized to the man and moved aside. Country bumpkin, don't just stand there dazing off. The man who muttered this as he passed by also clicked his tongue loud enough for me to hear. With my employee badge prepared in advance, I entered the company. I believe the development department was this way. I hardly ever came to the headquarters, so I was lost in the building filled with similar-looking rooms. Then, I spotted the man who had hurled insults at me at the entrance. Realizing my gaze, the man seemed to recognize me and immediately said, Hold on, sir. This floor has a lot of confidential matters, so it's off limits to outsiders. The cleaning company's office is supposed to be in the basement. Hurry up and go." The man must have thought I was a cleaner based on my attire. He gestured dismissively with his hand. "Oh, no, that's not it, you see. I'm busy here. Just go do your cleaning job." The man didn't seem to have the slightest interest in listening to me, glaring as if to make sure I'd quickly leave the floor. I apologized for the intrusion. Today, I was dressed in a casual jacket and a checkered shirt. Since I wasn't wearing a tie, they probably didn't think I was an employee of the company. Reluctantly, I decided to move as the man had said. As I was about to take the elevator down, the man quickly grabbed my hand, pressing the elevator button. "Hey, old man, this isn't your personal elevator. Take the stairs." With a smug look, the man said that to me. I understood he wanted to belittle me as much as possible, and I felt irritated, but showing anger would only play into his hands. I held back and, with a pleasant smile, looked at the man and said, "You're right. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience." Saying that, I checked the man's employee badge. It read Brandon Taylor. Brandon, I might as well remember that. Though I thought it was in bad taste, I firmly memorized Brandon's face and headed towards the stairs. As I slowly descended the stairs, thinking about the many floors, I realized that at my age, it was indeed impossible, and I might just collapse. The first few steps felt like good exercise, but I quickly started to run out of breath. When I carefully stepped out into the hallway, I found myself in the cafeteria. This is a relief. I'll take a break here before getting in touch. Thinking this, I ordered an iced coffee and drank about half of it in one go, and then my phone rang. "Hello, this is Michael speaking." "Hey, where are you right now? I've been waiting for your call. Let me know once you arrive at the station. I'll send a car to pick you up." "Oh, I'm currently." "Wait, where are you right now?" As I began to say I'm at, I stopped myself. It might be good to take a look around the headquarters and see what it's like now and who's working here. So, I pretended I hadn't arrived yet. Sorry, I haven't reached the station yet. I'll be there soon and will call you back." Fortunately, it's been 20 years since I last came to headquarters. With many young employees like Brandon, not many people know me. I felt like a child playing hide and seek in the vast building. If I wander around too conspicuously, I might be treated as a suspicious person by someone like Brandon. I decided to keep a low profile. Then, a woman approached. She seemed to have some business with the chef in the cafeteria. From her attire and demeanor, she appeared to be in her late 30s. She was dressed smartly in a suit. She was possibly the CEO's secretary. Holding a planner and a tablet, she looked like someone who gets the job done. Clicking her heels, she approached the chef in the kitchen and said, "Good morning. Today, CEO Smith has an important guest, so please prepare lunch for two as usual." For me, usually in the countryside, this woman seemed like someone from a TV drama. Indeed, a CEO must have a good eye for people, I thought as I watched her. Noticing my gaze, she looked at me. After a moment of wondering who I was, she greeted me politely. "Good morning. Is there something troubling you? My name is Ashley," she asked, perhaps sensing my unease. "Good morning. No, I'm just taking a break before work. Please don't mind me." Even though she said not to worry, it's natural to be curious about an unfamiliar face in the company. Despite being a public cafeteria, she eyed me with suspicion as if I were an intruder. When I asked Ashley for directions to the development room, she kindly joined me in the elevator. Exiting the elevator, Ashley said, "The development room is at the end of this floor," and then returned to her own office. Obviously, as a stranger, I couldn't just walk into a room boldly, so I looked around discreetly. Then, from a room that seemed to be a meeting room, I heard loud voices. "Brandon, not again. Please stop it. You'll get caught eventually." I heard such voices. Carefully, I moved closer to eavesdrop without being noticed. "Who do you think you're talking to? I could have you kicked out of this development department in no time." Peeking into the room, I saw Brandon, who had complained to me a while ago. Could Brandon hold a high position, capable of expelling someone from the development department? I worried about the HR personnel hiring such individuals, wondering if he might have connections at the executive level. Then Brandon came to where I was hiding, and our eyes met. "Hey, cleaning guy, you are still here. This area is off limits to outsiders. Are you a new guy? Then, go buy me a coffee, now." Embarrassed at being seen in that situation, Brandon yelled at me with visible irritation. I apologized for the inconvenience. Understood. As I apologized, Brandon seemed somewhat satisfied and quickly left. Right after that, the man who was talking to Brandon approached me. "Are you okay? He's really rough, isn't he?" "Thank you. It's my fault for eavesdropping. Excuse me, but did he take something important from you?" The man looked troubled at being seen in such an unpleasant situation, but after a brief pause, he shared with me. "That guy is related to someone important in HR, maybe a son or a relative. That's why he's been placed in this department despite being incapable. He always takes credit for others' work, pretending to be busy. He sounds like trouble. Is it because of connections in HR? Just keep it between us, okay?" The man put his index finger to his lips, signaling for secrecy. "Sure, I won't tell anyone, but doesn't it bother you that he's taking credit for your work? Don't you care about what you develop?" I couldn't help but express my frustration to the man. I hate it too, but if I refuse, I might get kicked out of development. I love my job, you know, but there's a limit to everything. That's why I've planted a bug in the current data. I can fix it, but Brandon definitely can't. It'll be interesting to see what happens." He spoke with a bit of irritation after hearing my words. "Won't Brandon try to get back at you? I can't believe there are such childish adults around." "Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Working in a place where you can't do your job properly doesn't lead to good outcomes. I've said too much to someone I've just met. Sorry, I need to get back to work." Hey, can you tell me your name? I'm Jason. Oh, and don't worry about the coffee. I'll get it. No, it's okay. I was asked to do it, so please go back to your work. All right then, thank you. Jason gave me a bright smile, waved, and went back to his work. After watching him leave, I took out the note Ashley had given me. Ashley, it's Michael. Yes, how can I assist you? Ashley answered the phone immediately after one ring. I'm really sorry to ask, but could you bring some coffee to the development room? Certainly. How many cups do you need? Just one is fine, thanks. After hanging up, I pondered the reason I was called to the headquarters after 20 years. Maybe he had a hunch about the current situation. That's why he summoned me to the headquarters now. I encouraged myself to meet his expectations and then reached for the doorknob of the development room. As I opened the door and entered, Brandon stood in front, preparing to present what I presumed was data taken from Jason. Unaware of my entrance, Brandon was focused intently. A man, mistaking me for an outsider, approached but then looked surprised to see me. I motioned for silence as my name was about to be called out, focusing instead on Brandon's presentation. As Brandon reached the middle of his explanation, the screen went black with a clattering mechanical sound. Seconds later, when the screen lit up again, it displayed photos of Brandon slacking off. In a panic, Brandon couldn't figure out how to stop the data, sweating and flustered. The photos showed various scenes, such as Brandon napping in a sloppy manner and yelling at Jason, like a slideshow. Trying to hide it, he stood in front of the projector, but the other employees were already snickering. Hey, Brandon, that's your data, right? Stop it now. Upon being told by his boss, Brandon responded with a face that looked like he was about to cry. Yes, that's strange. Brandon frantically clicked on the computer, but not knowing how to stop it, he ended up just banging on it roughly. Hey, Jason, you made this, right? Stop it now. In his panic, Brandon inadvertently revealed that the data was Jason's to everyone in the development department. Is this someone else's data? What kind of person are you, Jason? Please stop it. Hearing that, the department head Ryan instructed Jason to stop the slideshow. Then, a red-faced Brandon approached Jason. Jason, this was your doing, wasn't it? Forgetting about the others around, Brandon grabbed Jason by the collar and confronted him. Just as he was about to swing his right hand, I spoke up. Brandon, stop this disgraceful behavior right now. Let go of Jason. Everyone in the room turned to me in shock. Brandon, the most surprised, looked at me as his name was called. And then he directed his anger at me, yelling as if to take it out on me. Hey, old man, don't you dare to act all high and mighty with me, a newbie. Where's the coffee? Seeing Brandon confront me, Ryan from the development department intervened him. Do you even realize who you're talking to? Ryan, this old guy is a new hire, right? What is HR thinking hiring someone like him? Hearing that, Ryan let out a heavy sigh. Brandon ignored the question, and Ryan offered me a deep apology. I'm terribly sorry for this unsightly scene and the rude behavior. Chairman Smith, did you, by any chance, hear about this from CEO Smith? Well, I haven't heard the details, but I had a hunch something was going on. Just then, Ashley appeared with a single cup of coffee. Excuse me, she said as she entered the room and offered me the coffee. Chairman Smith, sorry to keep you waiting. Ashley, sorry to make you do this. Thank you. I took the coffee from Ashley and handed it to Brandon. Here you go, Brandon. Brandon had lost all his earlier bravado, and he was visibly shaken. Chairman Smith, you are not a new hire. Thank you for the coffee. The employees around us were also unsettled by the situation. Jason looked particularly flustered. Then, CEO Smith arrived, looking rushed. It seems that Ashley had witnessed the situation and contacted CEO Smith. Upon entering with great urgency, CEO Smith saw me and immediately exclaimed, "Brother, sorry about this. I was surprised when I heard from Ashley that you were already inside the company. So, what happened?" In reality, I am the older brother of Daniel Smith, the CEO of this company, and hold a nominal position as its chairman. Naturally, the young employees, not having seen a chairman who hadn't appeared at the headquarters for 20 years, were unaware of who I was, leading to this commotion. "Daniel, I took a look at the development department and, well, there are quite a few, no, a lot of issues. So, you've seen it, brother. I have a favor to ask. Could you come back to the headquarters?" I was at a loss at CEO Smith's earnest request. Once upon a time, as we started the company together, I demanded of perfection from the increasing number of employees, and it disrupted the harmony within the company. My stress over unattainable goals led me to shout at employees and demand excessive overtime, earning me the nickname "the demon behind my back." The stressed employees lost their motivation to create good products, and the company atmosphere turned tense. Seeing Daniel always trying to mediate between me and the employees with a troubled face, I suggested stepping back myself. After that, I retreated to the countryside, where I opened a small programming class for children and led a modest life. Before I knew it, Daniel had grown the company we started together into something much larger on his own. He must have had the knack for management. Standing in front of the company, I looked up at the building and felt deep down that stepping back then was the right decision. However, I was surprised to find myself listed as the chairman without realizing it. By the way, Brandon was saying something a minute ago. "Cross me, and I'll have you kicked out of the development department." What was that all about? That was Brandon, who had mistaken me for a cleaner, found me the president's brother. He was now shocked to realize it, trembling. That was just a rumor I spread myself. I thought if people believed I was related to someone important in HR, they'd treat me better." "Wow, you're amazing. You have the power to make people believe lies. It'd be great if you could use the talent for something more productive." I wasn't trying to belittle Brandon, honestly. I found his method quite childish. But the ability to convince people of rumors was indeed impressive. "I'm sorry," Brandon apologized. I stopped him and said, "Instead of apologizing to me, shouldn't you be apologizing to Jason? It seems like you've done quite a bit to him." After that, Brandon, with a tearful face, turned to Jason and apologized. "Jason, I'm sorry for everything. I've always been envious of the interesting ideas you come up with. I truly am sorry for all I've done." Brandon. Daniel, the CEO, who had been merely observing until now, interjected. "So, Michael, how would you resolve this?" Daniel looked at me with a plotting expression. All right, I get it. Brandon, from this moment on, I'll be taking you under my wing for some strict training, and if you're really sorry, you'll start supporting Jason from now on." "Wait, I'm not being fired." Brandon recalled his past rudeness and had braced himself for dismissal, but I didn't allow it. "You see, I love turning the incapable into the capable even more than I love my meals. You're going to change." As I said this with a cheerful smile, Ryan from the development department murmured, "The demon still holds." Demon. Brandon shrank like a trembling puppy. Even demons mellow out and become less scary with age, after 20 years. Daniel, the CEO, said this with a hearty laugh as he left the development department. "A demon, huh? Lucky you, Brandon. Make sure to learn all the ins and outs thoroughly. I want to learn too." Jason seemed amused by Brandon's trembling but expressed a desire to learn together. "It's nice to hear you want to learn from me. All right, Brandon, let's get started." "Yes, sir." Brandon looked at me nervously. As a new member of the development team, I focused on nurturing young talent. Brandon was gradually transforming into a capable individual, and for some reason, Jason became very attached to me. The atmosphere in the development room now was filled with laughter. It was far from a stark contrast to the tense environment of 20 years ago. And so, I'm enjoying corporate life for the first time in 20 years. Perhaps even demons soften and lose their scare over 2 decades. At the cusp of 60, I'm experiencing some of the most enjoyable moments of my life.